Hi there, Dr. Rajiv Iyer here from IMG Secrets, and I welcome you all to our live session today. We have our other expert, Dr. Harshad Gurnane here. So I also want to welcome.
Hi, Raj. Nice to be here, and thank you all for joining.
So we also want to welcome our returning viewers. Um, Harshad, there have been a lot of questions about Tennessee. Tennessee has been a really hot topic, especially since the new law passed on IMGs. So, what is
Yeah,
your understanding about that?
I think it's become a game changer now. I think earlier you all had to think about coming here. That's how I did it. When I came in, did the residency, did my fellowship, and then became an attending, and now I've been here for about 20 plus years. So, but with this, if your training is very similar to what you've done in your home country, you could just come here on a provisional license and work for a hospital, and then in 2 years you have a full license. So I think it totally changes the game, and the number of seats is very different. And so this whole thing, you're not following any ACGME restrictions anymore.
Yeah. So it has been a game changer, and actually, as we talked about the other day, there are also many other states who are coming with this, and
Yeah.
I mean, with you and me seeing so many shortages of people, especially doctors in the USA right now, I think this is a fantastic time for IMGs to capture the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, and even if it is for a short period or if you want to stay long term, like some of us have done, it's a great opportunity to come explore a different country. And then if this is not what you want, it's much easier to go back to your home country too. But most people who are coming here want to stay for a longer period. But this kind of makes it a little bit easier and kind of creates a second pathway. And like you said, like almost every specialty, especially like primary care, has a lot of shortages,
Yeah.
especially when you go into the rural areas. And a lot of the university hospitals now have affiliations with these hospitals. So you'll still be affiliated with Penn, but you might be working in a place like 50 miles away where no one wants to go.
Yeah. So one of the other question that keeps coming up is, if an IMG comes into to do, this special 2 years of supervised training in the state of Tennessee or Illinois or wherever it is, can they get board certified?
Yeah, that's up to each board. And I think there are pathways to do that. And I think each board has its own thing. So I think that will, as more people come into this pathway, the board's gonna have to adapt. And sometimes it takes a year or two. They sometimes lag behind, but there are alternate pathways each for each specialty, and the number of seats are limited, but they're all growing, as you already know.
Yeah. I think the law has been passed, at least in the state of Tennessee, Illinois, and few other states are thinking, but the boards have to come in alignment with this. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. As you said, people can always venture into alternate entry paths and take on things. And yeah, the I think we can move on to take some questions, and I'll call my daughter. As is customary, we always do this wheel spin because many of you want to talk to us and get some mentoring or coaching. Now, in this instance, you can either speak to me or speak to Dr. Harshad, who has been in the USA for so many years and he knows all the different pathways as well. And then we'll do a free spin, and my daughter can explain if you want to come, and as we take on questions, just to keep things.
Hi. So, um, basically, we're gonna be doing a wheel spin, and like we're gonna do it how we always do it, and towards like, how many are we doing? One or two?
We can do two,
Okay, so
maybe.
towards the middle, we're gonna tell you guys to put all of your names in like the chat thingy, and then I'm gonna copy them and add them to the wheel, and then we'll spin it and then do the same thing at the end. So just put your names when we tell you.
Okay. In the meanwhile, you can always post some questions. So we have someone saying hello. So, hello, Dr. Vartika. And the next question is which is a better option? What is this in regards to? So, we actually do need some context as to, oh, maybe I see your question now. So, Harshad, see, this is the question. Give some insight between elective, internship, and externship.
So electives are basically you'll be coming in and doing a rotation. Internships are, I think, reserved for, so we call it an internship when you're at Penn and you come to Penn and do your kind of rotation or internship. And externships are when you are as a medical student or in your intern year, you come here to do a rotation. They're pretty limited. Electives are probably the easiest option because you come in. But like I said, most of these things have to happen while you're in medical school or in that internship year. And you more likely than not need some connection or someone here who can kind of go to the programs and make a case for you to do it. A lot of times it's based on relationships your medical school might already have because it comes through that pathway. What do you think, Raj?
Yeah, I think so. I completely agree with you. So many people we see what they do is they actually plan in such a way that they take some electives or externship, and then so one thing about internship is you have to do your internship in the USA if you're an IMG from a different country before you finish your internship. Now, once you complete your internship, this opportunity closes, and then your internship will actually be a part of your residency. Like how we see in anesthesia, the first year is considered an intern year, something like that. Now, once you finish all this, your options would be limited to doing observerships or sometimes hands on experiences. And we actually have some opportunities within IMG Secrets to do some hands on experience because we have collaborated with some clinics and hospitals to do that and website. I hope this answers your question, Sangeeta. All right, so this is a question from Madhu Pandey, which says, "Warm greetings from Nepal." Well, thanks for joining from Nepal. What would you suggest an orthopedic surgeon doing fine in home country, lands up in Canada in skill category, can find a job as an orthopedic for a period of time? Well, now this is a very tricky situation. On one hand, you're saying you're doing fine in your home country, which makes me say, just continue your life. Why do you want to mess up your life moving to a different country when you're already doing fine? But I understand there is a need to move. And then, if you cannot find a job within Canada, I mean, you just have to explore all the options like, going and speaking to people, trying to do some observerships, and making some connections. So your best case scenario is always ending up in a clinical fellowship, and I understand it's not a very easy to get a clinical fellowship, and these would be basically your options. Getting back to, again, none of them is easy, but persistence and exploring these would be your best bet, is what I think. And this probably would be the same thing in the US as well.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for surgical specialties, it gets really challenging.
Yeah, surgeries are very sought after specialties, so it's a very difficult because mostly the specialties which have openings after the US graduates or Canadian graduates are the ones which typically have openings for international graduates.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully that answered your question. Hi, Dr. Rajiv from Dr. Vanessa. Hello, Dr. Garcia. And the next question says, can step one be taken in India and step two in the US?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I don't think it matters where you take it. It's the same exam nowadays, so it doesn't matter. It's the same scores. It just depends whether you're more comfortable in one center versus the other.
Where did you take your step one and step two?
So I took it before coming to the US because I did come in on, I already had interviews lined up when I came in here. So again, it depends on resources, how many trips you can make to the US, how long can you stay here. Because most likely, if you're coming here to take step two, you'll be coming on a visitor's visa, so you only have 6 months. You could probably extend it for another couple of months, but then you might have to go back. So Depends on how you time it.
Mm-hmm. So I took mine in Toronto, Canada, and I don't think, yeah, it really matters. All right, Dr. Santosh Vivedi, whom we know really well, thanks for joining, asks, will there be any issue if there are any attempts in USMLE steps?
I think they always want to know why. The programs are interested in why it took attempts, and if you have a reason for it, that's fine. It's best to always get your best score in the first attempt. That's the ideal scenario. But if you did not get your best score, unfortunately, if you pass it, I don't think you can take it again. I'm thinking that's the same rule now, Raj. Is that correct?
I
So once
think
you pass
so.
it, I don't think you can't take it again. So either you have to fail it or get a really good score. So I think you can't be in between the two.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I think that's still the same rule.
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Syed asks, hello, doctor. Hello. Is ECFMG certification required for Canada? You do not need an ECFMG certification in Canada. But in Canada, the requirements are, if you're thinking of residency, you become a Canadian PR or a Canadian citizen, you clear an MCCQE1, NAC, which is an ASCII based, and you complete some of the provincial requirements that are very specific, and some of them can be painful, and then you apply for residency matching through CARMS. The next question asks, can you please tell us about recent Canada pathways? See, Canada is actually, the traditional pathways have always been residency, fellowship, moving as directly as a consultant or an attending physician, depending on where you're trained from, either through a province-based specialist pathway or through one of the Royal College pathway. They recently opened an Atlantic immigration program, and every province has a program where they're expanding. But something you all need to be careful of is getting a PR in Canada is very easy, but getting a job is not. So if you end up planning for a PR, so make sure you also plan for a job, because you don't want to land as a PR and then struggle without having anything. I keep saying this again and again because I have seen too many IMGs in Canada. Harshad, even when I was in Toronto, I've come across a few IMGs who actually either couldn't get back to medicine or they're actually doing unskilled work. Like driving taxis and working in gas stations. Not that it's bad, but it's an unskilled work.
Yeah. And that's interesting because even in that article we were talking about a few days back that came out in the New England Journal of Medicine, they talked about, I think even in the US, about 40% of physicians who are trained in other countries are coming here and doing jobs which are not meant for physicians. So it could be allied professions in a hospital, but also could be outside the hospital. They didn't clarify that more, but that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, it is. It is. So that's why you all have to plan your life and career really well. I mean, it's exciting to move to USA and Canada, which is fine. I get that, but you don't want to mess up yourself in such a situation that you don't land up doing anything and then really struggle. So plan accordingly and then take appropriate steps.
Yeah, I agree.
And Dr. Chalarani says hi. And next question is from Dr. Garcia, who says, good day, Dr. Raji. What is a good way to be a pediatrician in Canada? I'm waiting for my ECFMG certification from Medical Council of Canada. Okay. A good way to be a pediatrician, if you have not done any pediatric residency in your home country, is residency. If you have already done pediatric residency from your home country, a good step forward is a clinical fellowship in pediatrics. Regarding your second point, ECFMG certification from MCC, I think there is a bit of confusion here because MCC does not provide ECFMG certification. This is provided by the ECFMG, which is in the US. All right. Now we have Dr. Bhatt, who is a Pakistani MBBS doctor. I have done MCPS in family medicine, and tell me about MRCGP International in USA. I am having a hard time getting the concept of the question. So basically, if you have done, so I recognize your name and thanks for joining. So if you have done family medicine in Pakistan, then I don't know. I need a little more context to this question. I'm having a hard time. All right. Next question says, can you give me some ideas about the Nova Scotia Health Program? Well, so many provinces have been coming up with a lot of these health programs because Canada is. See, we talk about US being short of doctors, Harshad, but
Yeah.
Canada is like, unbelievably short of doctors too. Apart from Toronto in Ontario and maybe Vancouver and Alberta and few other cities, there is a huge shortage of both population and doctors in Canada. So all these provinces are coming up with new schemes where they can attract people from outside, but they're not promising enough jobs. That's where the scary part is. So we do need a little more context about this, but if you want any specific information, you can always reach out to us on contact us at imgsecrets.com, which is our website that our team follows. And by the way, if any of you wants to join live to ask a question, I have left a link below. You can join us live and then ask a question. But remember, if you join live, both your face, your audio, video, everything would be getting transmitted to the live feed. Plus, this video is going to stay. So anyone who comes back and sees will also be seeing all this. Okay? All right. Next question is from Dr. Asha Xavier, who says, will IMGs be able to get into competitive specialties like gastro and oncology, which conventionally are known to be taken up by students who have done residency in the US?
This one, I think, well, thank you, Dr. Xavier, for the question. But I think, I think it depends on where you are looking to train. Again, cities which are popular will always have less spots open, but there are plenty of spots, especially with fellowships and residencies not filling up. So I think gastro is a procedural specialty, so there is more scope for generating more income. So it is popular among the US graduates, but definitely HEMONC has ups and downs. So you do see a fair number of international graduates who are both in gastroenterology, which might be a little bit more difficult, but definitely in oncology.
Yeah, you and me keep seeing gastroenterologists, oncologists, or IMGs who come from many different countries.
Yeah, so it's not unheard of. It's just a little more difficult and just might take a few more years. And same thing with cardiology. I know quite a few friends who have done interventional cardiology and are doing very well here.
Yeah. So we have someone joining the call, Harshad. I'll let him in. This is Kunal, and let me put him on the feed.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are.
I'm very super excited to have a conversation with you one to one. I've been following IMG Secrets from a long time.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
I'm from India. Talking about myself, I've been trained in interventional cardiology. I've done my DM here in India, and now looking forward to coming to USA by alternate entry pathway. So can you give me some insights, like what are the chances of Indian trained interventional cardiologists to look forward to coming to USA? Is it really a successful pathway? And whether the residency is better or the alternate entry pathway is better, and what are the chances of getting into the fellowship, a clinical fellowship?
That's a great question. See, for anyone who has done a DM in India or anyone who is an interventional cardiologist, the best option is always the alternate entry path program. Okay, because that way you don't have to go through the residency and cardiology training all over again. Now, is it easy to get? It's not. It's competitive, but we have seen people who have been successful in getting these fellowships. Now, once you get into a fellowship through the alternate entry path program, what happens in cardiology is, let's say you get absorbed into the system, and then you become an attending physician who is functioning in a country. I mean, in a hospital. Now, once you work for a certain number of years, and in internal medicine it's 3 years, then you would apply to the American Board of Internal Medicine to see all your credentials, and if they seem you to be fit, then they would give you eligibility to write the internal medicine boards. So the first step is then you become board certified in internal medicine, and once that happens, based on your cardiology training which has happened in India and your interventional cardiology fellowship which is now happening in the US plus India, you would be given eligibility to write cardiology boards. And then, now this is assuming everything is going in your favor. Then you would be not only certified in internal medicine, but you would be certified in cardiology. And then if there is a boards in internal interventional cardiology, you would give eligibility to that as well. So that's how the alternate entry path program works.
So one gets board certified after the clinical fellowship.
If you get into an alternate entry path program and the boards can approve you as a candidate, then yes, the fantastic thing is you can be board certified. And once all this happens, then you would be similar to anyone who is trained in the US.
And sir, how much they get paid while doing their clinical fellowship? Is it easy for one to sustain, if couple is moving together, husband and wife?
Harshad, what do you think?
No, I think so. Means most residents in training, a lot of them are married. Sometimes the spouse might have to find some work, but most people are able to sustain. Most international graduates kind of come in the same way you have. So whether you come for residency or fellowship in fact will most likely be paid higher just because it's a tiered system that the ACGME has created. So like an intern will get paid the lowest amount, and then every year you see a little increment. So if you come in as a fellow and it's an ACGME accredited fellowship, there are some which are not, so you just have to be careful with that. Then you would be eligible to make the same salary as a US graduate would make.
Okay. And sir, in India, we don't stress much upon the research work. So with such a poor research work, are there chances fair enough to be selected in the clinical fellowship like that?
See, the research is always icing on the cake, but we've been seeing more and more people, especially recently, who are making the cut even without the necessary research requirements. So if you had talked to me, like, let's say probably before COVID, Harshad, then the regulations were very stringent. There was no staffing shortages, but right now there is a huge staffing shortages. So I mean, even in different specialties, we've been
Yeah.
seeing IMGs making the cut even without a lot of research requirements.
And
Okay.
again, I think you might be eligible for like more programs which are more heavily clinical. So you might not go to like your Harvard or Yale, the big centers, which want a big research program. But there are other programs which provide international or even cardiology fellowships, which are more heavily clinical. So you kind of want to focus on those in that case.
So first step is to get ECFMG certified and then apply for the clinical fellowship. That
Yeah, yeah. In your case, you're always better off getting ECFMG certified.
is step 3 necessary for to do
It's
a clinical fellowship?
it's always preferred.
Yes. Step three affects which kind of visa you end up on. So that's why you want to get a full license, and that's why step three comes in.
Okay. All right.
So
Hopefully
that's
that answered your question. And if you need any help with in terms of moving forward with your application, you have a choice of doing yourself, or if you want our help, we'll be more than happy to help you. Okay.
sure. I'll keep in touch with you, sir, and I'll
Sure.
book an appointment with you sooner.
Sounds good. All right. I look forward to speaking to you.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Good
Thanks a
luck.
lot for the
Okay.
answer,
Take care.
and thanks a lot.
My pleasure. All right. We have another call, Harshad. This is Rajat Sahu. Let's take him and see what question he has. Hello?
Hello.
Yes?
Uh, Hello, sir. I am also following your IMG secrets for quite some time. I am Dr. Rajat. I am working as a pediatrician here. I have not done my masters. I have done DCH, diploma in child health. So my question is, sir, am I eligible for fellowships in Canada? Only masters are eligible for fellowships in Canada.
Okay, so that's a great question. Have you done DNB or no DNB?
No DNV, sir.
Okay. So in general, the requirement is that you do have to finish your masters. Okay?
Okay.
But
Okay.
on rare occasions, we have seen people with DCH who have been successful in getting a fellowship. Okay, it's not a common
Okay.
occurrence, but we actually do know of a pediatrician who is DCH and who is now part of the system. So yes, it can happen, but um, rarely, but it can happen. I wouldn't say it's a zero a chance. Same in the
Okay.
US.
So how it can happen?
Well, you
Sir?
would apply for a fellowship like how you would apply as an MD. And in addition to your diploma training, you would also highlight all the clinical experiences you've done. So, how long ago did
Okay.
you finish your DCH?
So I finished in 2017.
Okay, so you have 5 years of experience. So, hopefully, it also depends on where you have worked. So, based on that, you can always say you have all these experiences, and then you can apply to a fellowship.
So the MRCPCH that UK, that is there any accountability of that in the resume?
I haven't seen that make a huge difference in anyone's application. I mean, it might help a bit. See, let's say there is someone with exactly a different Dr. Rajat Sahu minus the MRCGP, and then they have you as a candidate. You might score a slightly better compared to that person. Apart from that,
Okay.
it doesn't make or break.
Okay, sir. Okay, okay. So I have also applied for PR for Canada. I'm following your videos in past 1 year.
Uh huh.
Uh, so I'm planning to give MCCQE and NAC exam. So what are the possibilities for of me to get any job opportunities in health
Well,
system
I
in
would
Canada?
I would say if you're already planning on doing your MCCQ1 and NAC, I think you should plan on applying for a fellowship and see what happens. But keep doing residency as your solid plan. So your primary goal is to do residency, but if you're able to get into fellowship, you can always use that experience as well. But keep doing residency as your primary focus. So you might actually be better off doing residency and then moving up from there.
Oh, okay, sir. And sir, what are these PRA programs of that practice ready assessments? Is there?
In your case, I wouldn't recommend PRA because of your diploma, and it's a big gamble. You'll be spending quite a bit of time and money on it, and the
Yes,
chance
sir.
of success is pretty limited. But rather, I think in your case, the more feasible approach to me is actually residency than anything else. If you try things like PRA, PER, I mean, the likelihood, again, I won't put it as zero because anything can happen, but the likelihood of success is going to be pretty limited.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay?
So, sir, I'm also planning to give simultaneously USMLE exam also. So,
That's
and
that is very smart, and I would strongly encourage that because then that will open your all your options in the US, and the plan would still be the same. If you do USMLE, then you can always focus on pediatric residency, and pediatrics is actually one of the IMG friendly specialties. So we do see not in very reputed programs, but in general, pediatrics does take a lot of IMGs in general.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot,
Yeah,
sir.
of course, of course. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Good luck with your with everything.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. We do have quite a few questions, but I know you have to leave. Thank you. I'll carry on with some questions, and
Okay. Thank you, Raj.
yeah, we'll touch base soon.
Okay. Thanks, Raj.
Yeah. All right. Let's take the. Okay. I'm going to take a question. You want to be prepared for. I'll come back to Dr. Rani in a bit. You want to come and do the spin wheel thingy? Hang on. Hi. I see Dr. Jihad.
Yeah. Hi.
How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
So, doctor, I just wanted to ask. I'm doing anesthesia. I'm a specialist now. And then I was wondering if I can do clinical fellowships in USA without taking the USMLEs.
So, what country are you doing your anesthesia specialization from?
Bahrain.
Okay. So, if you're training from Bahrain, then I would say you probably do need UCFMJ. So, you're actually better off finishing your USMLE steps, getting your UCFMJ certificate, and then applying for the fellowship.
Okay. So
Because-
there's no way to do it backwards, like do the clinical fellowships first and then like maybe, because I don't necessarily mind doing the residency all over again. It's just the exams.
Yeah, no, I understand. The exams can be painful, and in fact, we do know a few people who actually don't want to come to the US because of USMLE. USMLE is not that bad, it's just overrated. But anyway, so I think in your case, you're actually better off, since your training is from Bahrain, and you're still undergoing training, which makes me think you have slim experience in terms of anesthesia. See, there are exceptions to ECFMG and USMLE, and we have seen that happen. But to me, your training and your experience does not qualify for that. You would be trying too many things without any success if you approach that way. I mean, you might click, but the chance of clicking is going to be very slim. So you're better off doing your USMLE. Just pick the right study materials and do ECFMG certification, and then you take the next steps. Your chance of success is going to be pretty high.
Okay. Would it be the same for Canada?
In Canada, you don't need any exams at the moment. So you can once you finish your training, you're eligible for a fellowship, and you can certainly apply for a fellowship in Canada. And Bahrain is most likely one of those countries which actually also have sponsored fellowships, which means if your ministry can sponsor you as a candidate, if that's an option, then your ministry will pay Canada and you will definitely get a fellowship. Again, I have to check the list of all the countries, but to me, for some reason, Bahrain looks like it's on the list.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, but if that's not an option, yeah, you apply on your own.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
All right. So we have a question from Dr. Gopi Chand. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Iyer. How are you?
Hey, I'm well, thank you.
My name is Gopi Chand. I'm currently working as a fellow in cardiac anesthesia in London. I have finished all of my USMLE exams 1, 2, and 3. My question is that if I want to move to the US. I want to continue in cardiac anesthesia. The fellowships they typically take only because all of these fellowships are ACGME accredited, and they take residencies completed from the US. So, do you think I can get into one of the cardiac anesthesia programs, and eventually I want to work as a consultant?
Where is your anesthesia training from?
I did it from Amritsar in India.
Okay, and what are you doing in London, UK?
I'm doing a fellowship. I moved here around 2 years ago. I did 1 year in ICU and then 1 year in cardiac anesthesia here at the Royal
Okay,
Brompton Hospital.
okay. So obviously you don't have a CCT yet, right?
No.
Okay. No, you could still apply for a clinical fellowship. You could still apply for a clinical fellowship, and with your experience, what I usually recommend is you explore the alternate entry path program, okay, through which you can bypass residency and be a part of the system.
Hmm.
And right now, with the huge shortage of physicians, that's become more and more possible. There has been quite a bit of ease of regulations and things like that. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy and you'll get it as soon as you apply, but you stand a chance through starting your career through a fellowship in cardiac anesthesia, and see what happens after that.
Okay. In Tennessee, are there, do you think there are any programs that would take up this? Because I know that most of these fellowships they do not entertain foreign trained doctors, especially in cardiac anesthesia.
We see cardiac anesthetists who are IMGs. I mean,
Oh, that is great to know.
yeah. There's nothing like, I mean,
Hmm.
yeah. So in your case, sure, Tennessee is an option, but you don't have to focus only on Tennessee. You have the whole US open. Okay, so you can pretty much focus on any state.
Oh, that's good
Okay.
to know.
Yeah, and if you need our help, you can always reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to put forth your application and exactly guide you which way to go.
Absolutely. Yes, Dr. Iyer. I'll look forward to connecting with you. I have a bunch of more doubts. Thank you for all the informative videos. I've in fact come to know about the Tennessee program through one of your videos.
Oh, I'm glad to
I
know.
didn't even know that it existed.
Yeah. More and more states are easing regulations now.
That's great. That's great to know.
Yeah,
Thank you,
cool.
Dr. Iyer.
Yeah, look forward to speaking to you one on one soon. Take care.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
You want to come and do your stuff? All right. So I'll take a question. And Dr. Rani asks, is it a must to have USMLE and ECFMG to do a fellowship in ophthalmology in USA? Yes. See, ophthalmology is a very competitive specialty, and it's not easy to get into ophthalmology, but USMLE I would say would be a definite requirement. All right. So we have one more person joining. Dr. Janvi Patel, how are you doing today?
Hello, sir. How are you? I'm good.
I'm well, thank you.
Sir, I want to ask you some question about my career. Right now, I'm doing MBBS from India, and I want to go to US or Canada as I want to do PG over there. So I'm a bit confused which path I should take. Like Canada is better or US is better. So as per you, which is the better option?
Well, the better option in terms of opportunity is always the US. Okay. And
Okay.
where do you have any family in the US or Canada?
No, I have engineering background. My brother is there. Nobody's from medical background, so nobody's there.
Okay. Well, you don't have any specific ties to US or Canada, then I would focus on finishing USMLE and plan on doing residency in the US, because the
Yes.
opportunities are a lot more and there are a lot more programs for you to get in. However, as a fresh student, you may have to do some specific steps to make yourself, in that level to actually match into residency. So few things people do is they explore electives, externships, internships, observerships. None of them is easy to get, but these are some of the things you would do, and then you would build your career on if you can get involved in some research projects. I mean, I understand it's difficult as an MBBS student, but whatever you can to build your CV is definitely going to help, and definitely good scores on USMLE Step 2 CK will always help.
Yes, sir. And so, what about the MCCQE examination? Can I clear it easily, or it will be tough to get in it?
See, the exams depend on individual candidate. Some people find it difficult, some people find it easy. On an average, people need somewhere between 3 months to a year to prepare for each of these exams. So you would know yourself well. It's hard for me to answer for you. If you ask me, I would say that this is not a tough exam. But again, you might think something different. So it all depends on individual and how well one is prepared. Right? So give
And so,
yourself
other
enough
than
time to
MCC,
prepare.
yeah. So, other than MCCQE examination, what other pathway I can choose for Canada?
Well, the first thing you have to figure out is whether you want to focus on the US or Canada. You don't want to
Yes, sir.
travel with 1 feet or in two different boats, right? So you want to have both your feet in one boat and then make a decision and then think accordingly, okay, whether I want to focus here or focus there. If you focus on two different things, then it's going to be a problem.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for answering my question.
Okay. Yeah, good luck with everything, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, do you want to come and announce? You're not doing that. Dr. Dwivedi asks, will there be any issues if there are attempts in USMLE steps for Tennessee pathway? Well, in general, it's better not to have USMLE steps. But if you do have any attempts in USMLE steps, it is not the end of the world. We've seen people who have steps, who have attempts in their steps, but who have still been successful to move to the next steps. So I wouldn't stress about that. All right, Dr. Oladayo says USMLE is such a big hurdle for most of us IMGs, despite knowing that the US is a destination of choice for most people. Okay, all right. Yes, USMLE can be a big hurdle, and what I would say is you just give yourself enough time, prepare the right materials, and it is a doable exam. I have done it myself, so I know how USMLE is. So it is a doable exam. Just you have to focus on the right study materials and take the right steps. Hey, you have to come here quickly and then make the announcement so we can keep going. We're already at the 45-minute mark.
So, we're gonna be doing the wheel spin now, and you all can put your names in the chat. And the reason we didn't do this in the beginning is because whenever people put their names in the beginning, they always leave, and it's not fair for the people watching. So we're gonna make you all put your names now, and then we're gonna spin it in 5 minutes, and then I'll add you to the wheel.
Cool.
So you also put your names, and I'll add you while my dad's answering questions.
Okay, cool. I'll start taking questions. Is
there
anything
for a free coaching session?
Is there anything you wanted to say? You came here?
No, I came here to spin the wheel.
Oh, we still have time for that. All right. Dr. Asha Zavir says, and could you give us some insight whether all universities will follow this or only hospitals in the periphery? I actually missed your initial question. Is it regarding, let me see, Tennessee pathway? Oh, you're talking of gastro and oncology, right? No, this can be any hospitals. See, as an IMG, the chances are always more significant in major university hospitals than any peripheral hospitals. So this could be anywhere. See, ultimately it depends on you as a candidate, And this is true for all of you and all specialties, plus how receptive the hospital is in terms of hiring you. Alright, hopefully you're putting your names for the spin. So as I'm taking more and more questions. And Dr. Walk says, I want to pursue clinical fellowship in minimally invasive surgery in OB and Gynae in Canada. I'm a fresh graduate from India. I want to book a consultation with you. Please guide. Sure. So I'll be more than happy to speak with you one-on-one, take a look at your CV, and then exactly guide you how to go about it. But I want to tell you, in the OBGYN fellowships can be extremely competitive, and you may have to apply to quite a few fellowships to be successful. And once we speak to you, I can tell you if minimally invasive would be a good choice for you to go as the first fellowships, or should you be focusing on something else and then keep this option as your second fellowship. Okay, many times what we need to do is, it's important to get through the door, come into the USA, Canada through clinical fellowships, and many times we don't have the option to choose what we want to do, but you can get into these countries with whatever fellowship you get, and then based on that you can do what you like as your second fellowship. And I myself did exactly that. All right. So the next question is from Nepal. I'm a consultant neurosurgeon here. Do we need to do USMLE for Tennessee's? How do we find the job vacancies there? If you are someone who is trained from Nepal, then yes, you do need USMLE, I would say. And see, there is no website, there is no place people are going to advertise saying, oh, the Tennessee law is now here, the Tennessee pathway is now open, you can come and apply. That is probably not going to happen. See, the state of Tennessee or any other state for that matter has passed a law, but the hospitals can decide if they want to follow it or not. I'll give you an example. Let's say you drive a car. You have to follow a lot of different rules on the road when you drive a car, obviously. But what if you don't even have a car? Then you don't have to follow any driving rules. Is that right? So this is exactly how it is. The hospitals can choose not to be a part of the program. So you're not going to find anywhere. So your best chance is to apply at all hospitals and see what happens. And this is where our expertise come into play, that we exactly guide people which approach to take. But if you decide to apply on your own, you have to probably take a global approach and sort of just apply everywhere. All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's my pleasure. And thank you all for joining and asking questions. Hopefully this is all helping you out. Dr. Jaskaran Singh says, hello. Hello, Dr. Singh. I recognize you. So I do have my theory result with me, but practical results are still awaited. What will be the good time to book consultation? See, whether you book consultation or not, if you decide to do a fellowship, you may want to get going with your application right away, mainly because the applications start pretty soon. And if the applications are open now, they're probably hiring for a year or two from now. So you want to stay ahead and try to start moving things as soon as possible. Hopefully that answers your question. Are we good for the spin?
I added everyone so far.
Okay, come on then. All right, we'll take a spin. And then let me see if I can share my screen. And bear with me for a sec. Oh, there it is. Alright. Alright, hang on, don't spin yet. Okay, so we gotta get this on our screen. Oh, okay, there you go. And then we'll go to this. Alright. Okay, so hang on. We have put in all the names. If you don't see your name, don't stress about it, because this is a clustered wheel. Many times the names get hidden there, so your name would be there because She would do a fantastic job in getting all the names. Okay,
If
we'll
you
do the
put your
spin.
name, then it's on there.
Cool. All right,
Adia,
our
go
little
for
guy is
it.
spinning. All right. Dr. Prem Raju, you can reach out to us at contact us at imgsecrets.com, and our team is going to help you set up a meeting. And in the interest of time, we would be doing one person today. And so we'll I'll look forward to speaking to you soon. Okay, and congratulations. Cool. All right. So I might take one more question, and then we'll be answering questions. You know, you can always post questions on YouTube and other social media. Of course, it's hard to get on other social media because our team is constantly looking at the message. We do get a lot of messages. So if you need our help, if you really need our help, the best way to get in touch with us is to book a one-on-one appointment with one of us, and then we'll be more than happy to guide you. All right, so I'm going to take one more question. Is Canadian licensing pathway more difficult as compared to USMLE? In my experience, it has been more difficult because USMLE, I mean, in the US, it's pretty simple. You do USMLEs, sure, USMLE can be difficult for some, but you get ECFMG certified, you apply, you're good. But in Canada, it's complicated. You not only do exams, but you also complete a lot of province-based pathways, so which puts a lot of extra work on you. Plus, the number of programs in Canada is quite less. So, you will have to spend a lot more time and effort to achieve what you need to achieve in Canada. So, for those reasons, I would say the path in the US is more straightforward and comparatively easier as compared to Canada, but the immigration can be challenging in the US. That's a separate topic. But usually they sponsor a visa, but if you think of green card and stuff like that, it might take some extra time. Okay, so actually, in the interest of time, I do have to take the other questions next time, but I do have to thank you all for joining, and please continue to watch and then keep posting your questions so we know we can get the most and best answers for you. And good luck with everything, and take care, stay safe. We will talk to you soon. Bye.